Hello, Julie here with Dharma Talk Tuesday, and I'm coming to you live from a hotel because I'm facilitating and supporting one of the leadership trainings right now. So it really got me thinking and inspired about the leaders that I support, which is the Dharma Queens, which is the women who are visionaries, who have ideas, who have dreams, who are inspired. They get these like whispers in their heart that come up at night as they're falling asleep, and it's like, oh, like you should be a coach, or wow, like you should write a book, or oh my gosh, like you should be a yoga teacher, you could do retreats. And then there's the other thoughts that come into your head, like I'm afraid to actually bring that up, or what if in doing that it creates conflict in my family, or what if speaking my truth about what I want, whether it's professionally or like a preference that you have, or whatever it is. What I've seen is that so many times people actually don't share what they want. They actually don't use their voice or speak their truth because they're afraid of confrontation. They're afraid of getting in trouble. They're afraid of saying the wrong thing, or rippling the waters, or doing something to upset somebody. And I see this especially so in women, because we as women actually like evolved over the course of time. It's like ingrained in our DNA that if we are abandoned or isolated, we are like, death is imminent. Like, we are not okay. It is not okay. We will not be okay. And so there's this like really deep fear that comes from this feeling of, it comes from a belief, right? Because it all comes from beliefs. It comes from a belief of, if I am confrontational by speaking my truth and using my voice, that I will be abandoned. And if I am abandoned, then I will not be okay. Like, this is how it all breaks down. That's what it all ends up sounding like when you break it all down. And the reason why this is such a problem is because then what ends up happening is people start, like you, let's say this is you, by the way, hearts and likes if you can relate to any of this, not like no judgment. I certainly have, I have my own stories around this. I think most women do. It's very against the grain to be okay with confrontation, or to not feel uncomfortable by it, or to not want to avoid it. It's very against the grain. And so hearts and likes, like the first thing we can do to get rid of a shadow is to shine the light on it. So no shame, hearts and likes. And what I see happening for people who sort of make decisions, like if you're making decisions with the criteria of, I'm making this decision to avoid the confrontation. So I'm making a decision out of avoiding a confrontation rather than out of your vision, or out of your body wisdom, or out of the heart's whisper that's keeping you up at night, like whispering the encouragement in your ear. Then what's happening is there's such a cost. Gosh, there is such a cost to that. I mean, there's a cost to your relationships, like that actually creates resentment. There's a cost to your health, that creates like being overweight. It creates actual like stroke. It creates heart attack. Like, stress is the, out of 99 out of 100 times the contributor to illness, especially chronic illness, or really severe sudden attacks of illness like stroke and heart attack and things like that. And that comes from stuffing down your voice and really wanting to avoid confrontation because of the fears that the prices that you're afraid to pay if you were to confront. And it's almost like you'd rather like stuff it down and deal with these other consequences, like ill health, or resentment, or lack of intimacy, or whatever, than to get what you want. Like I'm just being real with you, and it's sad and it's heartbreaking and it sucks, but people are making these kinds of decisions every second, every day, and you might even be one of them. And again, there's no shame in that, because again, I've been that person. So the reason why this conversation I think is so powerful and so important is because well, first of all, I felt inspired by being in the leadership training, but also I've heard so many, let me just put it this way, I've heard too many people say no to themselves. Too many people say no to their vision because of a fear of avoiding confrontation. So what I want to do today is transmute your understanding of confrontation. So let's start with the underlying belief system. So it's all coming from belief system. So let's start with the underlying belief system that created confrontation around confrontation that most people have, which is confrontation creates abandonment. Or when I'm confrontive, when I use my voice, when I'm authentic and truthful, it creates conflict. It's uncomfortable. It creates disconnection. I lose love. That's the underlying belief. What if confrontation created intimacy? What if confrontation created connection? What if confrontation created love? What if confrontation created prosperity? Like, that's a totally opposite and totally different belief system. Not just action, but belief system. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to say. And if you're resisting that, or if you're having trouble trusting me that that's possible, then that's okay. And just know that if you're willing to trust me on this, because by the way, this is a breakthrough I've had, and there's even one of my favorite quotes. It's by Tim Ferriss, and he says, the more hard conversations you're willing to have, the more money you get to make. I love that so much, because it's really not even just about money. It's about impact and relationship and all of it. And I just heard some music, and as a DJ, when I hear music, I get distracted and lose my focus. Anyway, does this ever happen to you? So, I forgot my headphones today. So shifting our belief system. So if you're struggling with even like believing this as a possibility, then just borrow my belief right now. Borrow my belief. And I would love to tell you a story on, like, to give you evidence on why confrontation can create intimacy. I was gonna say I don't have time to give you a story right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you a story. My experience is I've been with Matt for 3+ years, and every time we have a conflict, and we confront, one of us confronts the other about it, it always, not just sometimes, it always brings us closer. It always deepens our intimacy. It always gives us a better understanding of the other person. Now, here's what I want you to know. He and I both are master enrollers. We are master communicators, and we're both master enrollers. And the reason why this is important and why it's connected is that being a master enroller doesn't just mean making sales, although that can be something that happens. It actually means being able to understand the other person that you're speaking with, to understand their wants and needs and their desires and their vision so fully and so intimately that you can sort of get them on the same page as you. And it's not, I don't say that in a manipulative way, but it's like it creates a communication flow. You know, he enrolls me, I enroll him, and we're in this like enrollment dance. And so even in a confrontation, enrollment is happening. And I'm on this really big enrollment like kick right now. And those of you that saw my video, my free training video on Friday morning, which was sales and enrollment for empaths, you know, like this is something I'm really talking about right now. And just as a side note, I teach manifesting. I teach money manifesting through clearing and opening the body, and also through the strategic side of things. I don't often talk about the strategic side of things publicly on my lives. It's more behind the scenes with my clients. But I'm talking about it openly now because I think it's important to say that you can manifest money miracles, and many of my clients do. Hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. Like, I see it all the time. But that's not a business plan. So what I help my clients create is a balance between those money manifesting miracles and being in that flow with the universe and with God, and also having a reliable, sturdy business plan that comes from your authentic heart versus a cookie cutter plan that feels out of alignment with you, right? So you can be in ownership of it. And so if you're willing to adopt this belief that confrontation creates intimacy, like, not only is this true and can this create breakthrough in your romantic relationships, but this actually can also make you money, believe it or not. Because if you're willing to go into an enrollment conversation with someone who, by the way, probably raised their hand and said, let's say they're wanting to coach with you, let's say they're wanting to learn, like take one of your products or services or courses, and they're on the phone with you and they're like, please help me, that means that they've said, hey, I really want to like learn more. I need some help with this particular topic. It's now your job to support them in creating a breakthrough and a result. And there's obviously something in their way of creating the breakthrough or the result, or they wouldn't be on the phone with you right now. And so what's going to happen is you're going to get to the point where you're going to say, here's what you need to do, step 1, step 2, step 3. And I can teach you how to do it faster and better and quicker in my program, the whatever experience, and here's how much it costs, and here's what you get with it, and what do you say? And most people at that point have some kind of objection, and they say something like, I can't afford it, or I don't have time, or I need to ask my husband, or something like that. And where a lot of entrepreneurs, especially coaches, like the empath feely kind, stop is they're like, okay, all right, whatever you want, like your timeline, whatever, just let me know. And the problem with that is that you are basically giving them another opportunity to have evidence that, once again, no one can help them. Once again, their circumstances and their limitations are bigger than their possibilities, than they are, and once again, nothing can be done. And they go back into, and honestly, probably another coach is going to enroll them at some point because they still have the problem. You didn't really solve anything. And so one of the things we get to do as like Dharma queens and leaders and visionaries is be willing to be in the confrontation of, I hear you say that you can't afford it. What is that about? And to actually be in the confrontation of that limitation. So you're not confronting the person or their heart, or you're confronting the limitation and the person's interpretation of that limitation. And so you start to engage in a dance. And what I call that is handling an objection, especially from an empathic point of view. So the reason I share all of this with you, and I need to go back inside to the training room in just a moment, is that whether you are wanting to learn how to get better in your conversations with your like romantic partner, or with potential clients, or even with present clients that you have. You know, my clients have been with me for years and years and years because we have such a strong relationship, because we've been through the hard moments. We don't just like sugarcoat them or glaze over them. Like, we go through the hard moments and then we enroll each other in possibility again. I enroll them in possibility again. Once I said to one of my clients the other day, I said, don't you ever fucking try to enroll me in your limitations ever again. I don't recommend you saying that to just anyone. I have a very strong relationship with that particular client, but I share that with you because that's the stand that I'm committed to being for my clients and for the world. And one of the reasons I'm able to do it in such a graceful, non-exhausting way is because I know how to, as an empath, as a sensitive person, I know how to enroll. I know how to be in the stand. I have a different relationship with confrontation than most people do. I actually, I used to get really triggered by confrontation because in my family it meant, like, I just felt that in my heart as I was about to share this story with you. Like, it meant a loss of love. It meant withdrawal of love. It meant scolding. It meant really ridiculing. It meant a lot of wrong making. So I had to do a lot of work inside myself to change my relationship with confrontation. So I can tell you, as someone who has gotten to the other side of that breakthrough, that it's possible for you too. I promise you, if I can do it, you can do it too. So really quick, before I pop off, I want to let you know I'm going to post the link here. Actually, maybe I can do it right now. I'm going to post the link here to the link to my Dharma Queens Facebook group if you're not already a part of it, because, okay, there it is. In that Facebook group, you will actually be able to access my sales and enrollment training for empath, as well as the link to the objections for empaths course, which basically means how to be able to navigate the objections part of the sales. There's 5 different objections that people usually experience in a sales and enrollment call, and honestly in any context. And imagine the possibility and the ability to navigate those objections, to navigate the sales call without getting triggered, without getting exhausted, and to be able to be in the experience of the objection, creating intimacy, creating love, creating connection. That's what we're gonna do. That's what I'm gonna teach you how to do, exactly how to do that. The right words to say, the right energy to have, the right questions to ask. I'm gonna show you how to do all of it. And the objections training, which again, the link is in the Dharma Queens Facebook group, super easy to find. It's a 5-hour training broken up over 2 days. So it's a 2-day virtual workshop, Friday and Saturday, March 22nd and 23rd, from 2.5 hours, 11 a.m. to 1:30 on Friday, 11 a.m. to 1:30 PST. Saturday, it'll be recorded. You have lifetime access, and it's over Zoom, it's over video. And I'm going to be talking about this in great detail. So for now, I'm going to pop off. Actually, let me see who's on here. Let's see, we got Julie. Hi, Julie. We got Krista. Hello, beautiful Krista. We've got Zen Fu. She says, yes, I've struggled with that, but I've been learning to speak my truth, and it is so freeing. I couldn't agree more. So beautiful. All right, so that's it for today's Dharma Talk Tuesday. I'm sending you love and blessings. Hi, Lisa. I'm sending you love and blessings, and I'll see you next week at 6 p.m. Pacific on Dharma Talk Tuesday. Bye.